Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another Women's Disability Show. I am your host for the day, Brianna Wheeler. I'm so excited that you guys are here. We have lovely guests today, and the topic is going to be all about wheelchair fitness. So I'm super excited to get into it. As you know, it's summertime, and honestly, I feel like a lot of us are out of our routine. So I feel like we need to remind ourselves that it's okay, but how to get back into them and like healthy habits and different stuff like that. So I'm very excited to get into it. Let's start with introductions. If you don't know me, my name is Brianna. I was shot 6 years ago now, in my T12 through L5. I am from Los Angeles, California, and a favorite quote of mine today. We're gonna do quotes. I've been slacking on that. Sorry, guys, but I'm gonna bring it back. Is the way I look at it: if you want the rainbow, you have to deal with the rain. And I feel like that just reminds me, beautiful things are coming, and the bad days help me to appreciate the good ones and to just keep on rolling throughout life. So that's my quote for the day. Let's go to Maria.
Hello. I'm Maria. I'm part of the Rolettes. I've been part of the team since it started 10 years ago. I can't believe we're celebrating 10 years this year. Oh, where does the time go? But I'm also a certified personal trainer. I'm an L1 incomplete spinal cord injury, and I don't have a quote prepared, so I hope that's fine.
Okay.
But I did have a shirt one time that said, building a ramp to success since there's no elevator. So that's what we're doing here today, right?
Oh, I love it. I love it. Yes, keep on pushing no matter how hard it is. We're going to find a way. That's beautiful. Let's go to
That's what we
Rachel.
do.
Hi, I'm Rachel, and I'm a C6 incomplete. I was injured in a dune accident and about 15 years ago on July 1st, and I've been working with Zoom Fitness, being a fitness instructor for people with disabilities. And I would say my favorite quote is probably live the life you love and love the life you live. I think it's really
Oh, that's
important to
beautiful.
love it, you know?
Yeah, I feel like for so long I was just like surviving through life, and now like I'm really living. And I got asked that the other day, like, what is the benefit of being positive and keep on going? And like, I literally got emotional, and I was like, it's the feeling of wanting to live, wanting to laugh, wanting to keep going and making memories and loving life, And like, such a beautiful thing because it's like something that you're not realize, especially if you have trauma in your life, maybe, you have different like parents, lifestyles, cultures, all these different things that you're not really taught to really like love the life that you live. So I love that quote. That's a great thing that you brought up. So beautiful. Okay. So we're going to get into when did you guys start your fitness journey and why did you start it? So Maria, if you want to start off.
Absolutely. I've always been active. Growing up, before my disability, I've always been active. That's just kind of been what came natural. But then after I became disabled, I started dancing and I thought that was active enough for me. But in 2017, I realized I was really unhappy with my life and I had gained weight. But I didn't work out for the sake of losing weight. I worked out for the sake of happiness. That was my big why. All I wanted was to be a little bit happier, and I realized I was at my happiest when I was more active. The struggle was adapting workouts, though, and after some time and some outside thinking outside the box, and getting creative, I've been able to find assisted squats and other workouts to make it just match my abilities and actually challenge me.
So was there anybody that told you or any like certain thing that happened for you to be like, maybe I should work out to be happier? Or you just realized like, hey, I am at my happiest when I'm working out. Like it was a self-realization thing.
Um, I want to say the Rolettes were the ones that talked to me the most. Like, hey, we're really worried about you. You're not yourself. Things have been a little bit different. They noticed that I wasn't taking care of myself as much. There were a few things going on, and so they were the ones who like really talked to me about it. But it did take a lot of self-evaluation to actually get to the point of hearing them and understanding them. So I had to like really reflect on myself to really make that big push and take that final step to start making fitness work for me and start using it as a tool to become a little bit happier. Eventually, I realized that therapy also helps me as well. And so a combination of both being physically active and therapy has really significantly improved my mental health.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. I love that so much. And while we're on the topic, can you talk about how our LA Fit started and what's going on this month? Because I think that's another really important thing that's going on right now that I want our audience to know about. Also, if you guys are in the audience, feel free to leave some comments. We're going to start going through them very, very soon. So let us know who's in the chat. Let us know if you have any questions. Let us know anything that you want to know. And yeah, okay.
I love it. Our LA Fit is our June fitness challenge that we've been doing every year since I got heavily involved in my personal workout journey. And it's been a way to encourage people to build healthy habits. We used to have weekly themes like a cardio week, an upper body week, and so on to encourage people to find their version of a cardio workout that fits their abilities. But we instead want to focus this month on just building healthy habits in general. So there's no general theme. People can do cardio all month long. They can do upper body workouts all month long. They can work on their nutrition. They can work on drinking more water. They could even work on getting a better sleep schedule. And that could be a healthy habit to work on improving. We want you by the end of this month to just be a healthier, happier version of yourself and take the tools that you've built during this month and be able to apply them to your life when the challenge ends.
I love that so much. I feel like that's so important, and not something that we really think about. And a lot of people aren't used to incorporating, like, why their mental health is down or why they're down, or why they feel sluggish, why their stomach's hurting, why, their bowel program isn't right. And like, I feel like those healthy habits and finding what works for you is so important. So great, great topic. So Rachel, how did your fitness journey start and why did it start?
In 2013, I've always, like Maria, I was extremely physically active before my injury, and I was also very hyperactive, so I was always bouncing off the walls. But after my injury, I it took me a while to get independent and start gaining muscle because when I came home as a C4, and then I started gaining more return back. But in 2013, my mom started getting healthier, and so I started working out with her on a consistent basis, and then I became kind of obsessed with it. I liked how I felt, and I liked that getting stronger, I didn't realize would help so much with my independence. And the stronger and the lighter I get, the more independence I've been gaining. So it started in 2013, and I drop off the wagon once in a while, and I don't work out for a couple months, but then my mental health starts struggling. So I jump back on it. Even when I was at my most depressed, staying physically active and eating healthy on a regular basis kept me from like hitting rock bottom with depression. It kept me sane, stable, to work
Yeah.
through the bad spots.
Yeah, so that's probably a big benefit in your life to exercising. Would you say that's like the top reason that you exercise is to keep your mental health in check?
Mental health and independence.
And independence, yeah.
Because,
Those are big ones.
yeah, especially for me because I'm almost 100% independent, and but it took putting on a ton of muscle to get there. So
Hmm.
it's like independence and mental health 50-50 is the reason why I work out every
Yeah.
day.
And I also just want to say you have to start somewhere. I feel like it's going to be hard, but nobody said it's going to be easy. And I think that you just have to like keep on making little goals, and not being so hard on yourself and realizing, remembering why you're doing this. I think that's really important. So,
Yeah.
so what changes have you seen, Maria, also inside of your life, besides your mental health?
Um, Things are so much easier. Transferring on and off the floor, doing other workouts have also been easier. Like staying up on track of my fitness makes setting up for certain workouts a little bit easier and a little less terrifying. But one thing that I really loved that you said, Rachel, was that you've like fallen off and then gotten back on and then fallen off. And like that has happened to me so many times. And I think the main thing that I've gotten is honestly, I finally found that balance of just one step at a time, focusing on what I can do. And so, besides mental health, like my mood, which is kind of mental health, but also just transfers and my life in general is so much easier to navigate and get around through. I have more energy, and I'm just more upbeat than I usually am, which is also upbeat. But yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree. I feel like my fitness journey, I wasn't active before my injury. I've always hated working out. I hated going to PE. I don't like doing any of it. Like I've just never been that type of person. And then when I got injured and I got thrown into like the PT world of trying to walk again, and then exercising me, I felt more depressed thinking about me walking and me feeling like I'm so exhausted every single time that I leave this. I was just focusing on the negatives, right? I wasn't thinking like, hey, this is going to make me more independent. My health is going to get better. All these things are going to start changing when I incorporate this into my life. I didn't think about none of it. It was just like, I'm exhausted. I'm still not walking. There's no reason for this. I felt like the PT people that they put me in with my insurance didn't even know what the heck they were doing with me most of the time. And that really pushed me away from fitness for a long time, and it pushed me away from exercising for a long time. And I feel like that's a big problem that happens in our community, and sometimes people focus so much on exercising for walking instead of exercising for independence, and I feel like that kind of sets things back a little bit. I'm not saying that you can't work on walking, but you have to find a healthy balance. I feel like now I have to definitely in my life, realize these workouts aren't just for walking. Like these are for me, and to change my mindset of like, no, that's not the end goal that seems so miles away. It's just like, no, the end goal is that I want to be able to get in the car by myself. I want to shower by myself. I want to, have these little moments of independence. So I think that's so important. So Rachel, what would you say, is the difference between PT after injury and at gym and home workouts? Like, did you go to PT after injury?
I went maybe 2 or 3 times. Honestly, like you. I was from I was in Central California and in that farming community, and it was cut off from any major city. I think the next major city was Fresno, and that was like 45 minutes away. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so I was going to therapy, but I was not improving at all. I just don't think it was the best therapy. Um, I was also severely depressed,
Yeah.
and just no. It was bad. The first 3 years I didn't do anything, and there were times where I didn't get out of bed for weeks. Like I was not okay with what was with living the way I was. I don't tell people this because I think physical therapy is important. I just wasn't getting anything from that there. So I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
physical therapy once my chair gets fixed. I'm going back because I want to do transfers without a slide board. So that's my next goal because I know physical therapy can help me now that I'm in a bigger city. I think they'll have more education with people with spinal cord injuries. I'm
Mm-hmm.
hoping. So I didn't go to physical therapy. Literally, I taught myself everything like with YouTube videos.
Yeah, which I think is also another thing that big feedback that I hear from our community, right? And I think that it helps getting that knowledge from the wheelchair community and doing the RLA Fit Challenge and seeing how people actually work out in their wheelchairs and then bringing that knowledge into PT almost helps like balance it out like with the PT worker, because they don't always know what they're doing. So you have to kind of go in there almost like knowing what you want to do and like telling them, just tell me to do 5 of these or 10 of these and setting out a certain hour, and like sometimes
Right.
discipline helps rather than just working out at home. I feel like I struggle with that a lot, and that's when going back into PT now has helped. So hopefully it does.
Yeah, and in their defense, also, I was functioning as a C4, like barely, and it was in the beginning. Like I couldn't lift my weight back then, so I wasn't even depleted enough to lift my weight without triceps. So don't think I'm talking down about PT.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's super important for
Mm-hmm.
everyone. You should stay in it. I wish I did. You know,
Yeah,
I just want
I
to
agree,
it.
100%. Maria, did you go to PT afterwards? What was your experience like with that?
I think I went maybe once or twice when a new physical therapy center opened up like an hour and a half away from me, but not too often. I do think physical therapy has its place, and I think fitness has its place, and I think there is a space in between for that. And it's actually so funny because I actually had a physical therapist comment on one of my videos saying that doing adaptive fitness is training to live life in a wheelchair. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's exactly the point. It's like I'm working out to be stronger. I'm working out to enjoy my life as a wheelchair. And, you know, I think if you do have the reality of being able to walk again, definitely give it a shot. But you have to think about quality of life. If, you know, I have a lot of leg movement. I can move, you know, I can kick out my legs. I can do all these things. But I still think that the chances of me being able to walk again, like the amount of physical therapy I would have to do, I would have to quit being a personal trainer. I would have to quit traveling with the Rolex. I would have to quit doing all these things that make me happy in order to afford that, because the closest place that specializes in spinal cord injuries is like an hour and a half away. So 3 hours of driving for a 1 hour appointment plus insurance is not going to cover that unless I make significant improvements. I think, you know, I would rather go to the gym, do squats when I can, work out when I can, and if it becomes more of reality, explore that option. But quality
Mm-hmm.
of life is more important to me than walking is. And, you
Mm-hmm.
know, for some people, maybe that is walking is your quality of life and is improving it. But for some people, that's not the reality, and both are totally fine. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree. I totally agree. It's even like even the mindset of like using standing frames or standing as well. I want to mention like if you're depressed in the beginning, let me just throw this in. If you're depressed, if you're hearing us, we're from all different walks of life, and we come in and this is depressing. There's trauma, you know. So if you hate PT in the beginning, that's okay. You know, it's a struggle, but hopefully, you know, you're listening to this podcast, you're getting some great tips, you know, and you're seeing what works best for you and in your life, you know. So I know that we have to constantly be like reassuring both sides and like making sure nobody's getting offended and just letting you know that we're just giving our opinion and our stories about what this is, you know. Let me see. I thought I saw a standing frame. Hi, Brianna. I see you in the comments. The other Will, Brianna. Love you, girls. Just moved my standing frame to a new location and hopes I'll be more motivated to use it. That's so great. You know, there's a lot of benefits that I've learned about with standing frames, you know? So, like, that depressed nature of me, I wish I would have kept up with it just for my body's sake, because but your body, soon as you unfortunately get injured, you know, you start losing muscle tone, you start like losing the ability, you know, for that to get it back. So I think it's really important to stay active on it, you know, but it's a mindset thing. You have to incorporate, I think, regular therapy into your life as well in the beginning. Do you do standing frames, Maria?
I have one, and I've been trying to get back into the habit of using it more often, but I forgot. Honestly, this is motivating me. Right after I'm done with this, I'm probably going to hop over for 15 minutes. But I have one. I just haven't used
Mm-hmm.
it as consistently. I need to get back into that.
Yeah, same. I like barely use mine. I'm moving right now and I'm just like, oh my gosh, I this big old standing frame, you know, I hardly even use it, taking up all this space inside our freaking house. And like it's just taking that moment out of your day, you know, and like realizing like what am I gonna do? I feel like sometimes I feel a little limited inside of the standing frame, you know, I feel like I can't go, you know, help my dog, I can't do anything, you know, I feel like, oh, I'm kind of bored right here, you know, but you just have to set it out. I start like journaling or, you know, listen to music or just like find what works best for you to kind of zone out and just make it like even a healthy habit to make gifts for yourself, you know, rewards. If I stay in my standing frame for 30 minutes, I get to, for me, go out and smoke. But for you know, you could get some ice cream, you know, you could go to the mall, you could, you know, watch your favorite TV show, you could do all kinds of things, you know, and I feel like that kind of motivates you as well, giving your own self little rewards. We can't always depend on other people to motivate us, you know, we have to learn that self motivation as well and kind of what gets us going. So I think that's so important. Um, okay, let's see. So let's talk about gyms. So gyms are so important. Describe your first time going to an able-bodied gym. What are your top 3 tips or advice for first timers? So I know a lot of people get so scared to go to able-bodied gyms, and it's a very big milestone. So I definitely want to get your girls' advice on it. Maria, you're always on the gym now. So how did you gain that confidence? What was your story like? How were you ever like hesitant to it? Give me all the details, girl.
So I'm laughing because my first time at a gym since becoming disabled was actually terrible. It was the worst experience ever. I signed up because like I signed up online because it was affordable, it fit my budget. I'm like, great, let's go, let's hop into it. It was 2 levels. The ground floor was like it was all the cardio work, and then the lower level was all the weightlifting and everything like that. So I think we know where I'm going with this. Like all the things that I can't use are on the main floor, and I went to the elevator and it was shut off. So I went and I looked for the wheelchair lift, and that wasn't working. So I went to the front desk and asked for a key. And they're like, "Oh, we don't have the key." And I'm like, "Okay." And then I called them again, like they froze my account. I called them like, "Hey, is there an update?" They're like, "Oh, it's broken." And then it was just this back and forth, and they never fixed it. But now I'm at a much better gym that was already so much more accessible. There was one little part that was a little hard for me to get through, and they fixed it immediately and made it even more accessible than it already was. I have only had, besides that one time at a terrible gym that was very inaccessible, good experiences. Everybody is so kind. Everyone is so motivating. Most people are also just focused on themselves. They're not going to stare at you. If they are looking at you, they're probably motivated by you. I mean, we're going to use that inspiration point to our advantage here. And everybody is just so encouraging and motivating. People, if I need help because I can't reach something, they're more than happy to help. They are focused on their own workouts, so they're not staring at me because they think I shouldn't be there in the first place. It's only been very welcoming community. And I prefer the weight room because I think I don't have to transfer out of my chair as much. Things are a little bit easier for me to navigate. The machines are great for strength building, but those transfers can be very awkward and not accessible for everyone. But I do prefer the weight room, and I do think that everybody should give it a try once. For as far as my tips, make it as fun as you can. If you're more of an introvert, wear a hoodie, put in your headphones, look down, and just get to your workout and ignore everybody. If you're more of an extrovert, dress up for the occasion, make eye contact with people, say hi, and you'll make some friends while you're there. But if you make it fun and you make it work for you, the gym can be a great place to stay motivated and work out.
Yeah, I love that. So how long after that bad experience did it take you to go back to another gym and try it out? Was it right away? Did you wait? Like, what was that?
I started working out outside. I was like, well, I think this is the only gym that I can afford, so I'm going to go just outside and use resistance bands and dumbbells. And that worked out for a while, but I felt like there was more that I could be doing. So I got a different gym membership that was just as affordable. Um, and I liked that place, but I didn't like the color of the walls, so I switched to a different gym. And I like this one. This one's the perfect gym for me right now.
Yeah. And I asked that to just like remind the audience, like,
Yeah.
look around. Sometimes the first thing you try might not be the best, and you might have bad experience, but don't let that ruin, or deter you from your life goals. It's like, no, we got to keep moving. We got to find what does work for us. They are out there, and that's for anything. It's like, your favorite store you find, your favorite therapist. Sometimes with therapy, we go to therapists and, you don't really like it, or they say something that you don't really like. And you're like, therapy is not for me, instead of really like trying different therapists and seeing what is best for you. And if you need maybe an older person, a younger person, a female, a male, like what works best for your mindset. So that's the same thing with exercising. I feel like you have to really figure out what works for you. If, going outside and being in the hot sun and listening to your favorite, Drake song doesn't get you pumping, and you need to be in air conditioning, watching Netflix, doing something different, maybe having a conversation. Maybe you need other people around. Maybe you need a gym. Maybe you need PT, and like give it all these things a shot, because they matter to your life, and it does help you in the long run. I feel like with independence, with mental health, with how you're feeling with this life. As we all know, living life in a chair is not easy, and we get a lot of body aches, and it's very hard to be pushing around all the time and do transfers and do all this other stuff. And I really realized that since I started focusing on that I don't even second think some of those things. That dreadingness, it doesn't come as often. Of course, it still shows up, don't get me wrong, but it's not as often as I'm thinking about. Every part of my day is so draining and so exhausting. And, you don't realize, like, you wouldn't think like, oh, I need to exercise more to be less exhausted, but it does work like that. I promise you. Yeah. Okay. So, Rachel, have you went to the gym before? What was your experience with that?
I did go to the gym. Again, I lived in such a small town, so accessibility wasn't really. Like Maria was saying, though, people go above and beyond to try to help and try to make things accessible. As a quad, though, it was a lot more difficult to access the equipment, use it, and everything like that. So unless I had someone there to help me the entire time, it wasn't something that was going to work for me. So I really had to adapt my workouts from home. That's just what worked for me. But like Maria was saying, I'm an extrovert, so I would love to try when I get a car. I want to try some gyms here in Texas because I live in a bigger city now.
Mhm.
So I think that's exciting, and it's an opportunity to make friends and just work on my social skills because those lack sometimes. I've been stuck in this house for so long, you know. But I
Yeah, for
love it.
sure. You have to try different things. Yeah, don't be afraid. I feel like even able-bodied people get nervous to go to the gym. Like, believe it or not, and like sometimes, the hottest girl or the hottest guy, or the person that looks like they're most, doing it, has had their jitters too, and have to figure out what works best for them and try to zone out, and like that's why people have their headphones on, or watching like stuff or like, different things like that to make them feel more comfortable. So yeah, different things definitely help. Um, a great tip that I saw that you do, Maria, is that you put your wheels in the weights so that it doesn't move. Is that what you do? I thought that was so interesting because that's something that's really nerve wracking is like the steadiness, the balance of your chair. How do you
Oh
learn how
yeah,
to do that?
you need to stay stable to really get a good workout in. I take 25-pound plates and I put them down and I put my little caster wheels in the holes of those weights, and it just keeps. It's not so much to keep my chair from flipping back, but it keeps my chair from like turning side to side. If like maybe my tires aren't as pumped up or the brake is a little off, like I start shifting, or like I'm just kind of getting to the point, not to brag, but I'm getting stronger, so I'm lifting more weights and my chair is not staying in place anymore, so I'm using the weights to just kind of keep my chair a little bit more stable, and it's made it so much easier to get a good workout in and really push myself and really challenge myself. I think the next level I am going to need a gym partner to just hold my chair and keep it from flipping backwards, but this is a good step where I'm at right now, and it definitely really helps when you're ready to push yourself just a smidge more.
Yeah, I totally agree. And what I think is interesting about your journey, Maria, is that you're kind of the first one pushing this whole wheelchair fitness like really big, So how is that for you trying different things out and being confident enough to like post it to be like, hey, this is, what I do? Or like, where do you get your inspiration from to try different things or, come up with this? Because you're coming up with it in your head, that you're not watching anything else. You're not really seeing anything. So that's so interesting to me.
I sign up for able body challenges. That's kind of my little secret ingredient is I sign up for challenges that are made for people without disabilities, and then I try to adapt them as best as possible by myself, do whatever I can to really adapt them. And as I'm trying something new and learning something new, I film the whole experience and I show it. And if it was a failure, I laugh at it. Laughter is my favorite form of medicine. I'm always laughing at myself. But if it's a failure, I laugh at it. If it's a success, I hope that it encourages other people to maybe give it a try or find something else that might work for them that's very similar. But yeah, I also enjoy signing up for able body challenges and trying what their workouts are and seeing how I can make them work for me. And then in turn, impressing them because they've never thought about it that way. So it just really opens the eyes for our community that fitness is possible, that you can challenge yourself a little bit more, and that you can really live a healthier and happier life. And then it challenges the eyes of the non-disabled community that, fitness has all different shapes and sizes and different ways, and we all have similar goals of just living the healthiest, happiest life that we possibly can. So I think I'm changing the game on both sides, and I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, I really think that you are too, and I think it's super cool. And I think that we're seeing like a whole nother generation wheelchair users that are super into fitness, and feel like it's possible, and like is the first thing that they see, And I think that that's such a cool thing about the Rolettes is that each one of you guys have your own avenue as well as dancing, and so it really like broadens people's perspective about what's possible inside of this world. And I think that that's so empowering and really amazing thing that has happened from something so traumatic in all our lives, it's truly amazing to see how beautiful the full circle is and how it's all come together. So Rachel, how has Zook Fitness been for you? Is that how you say it? Zook Fitness? Am I saying that right? Okay.
Yes,
How has that been? How did you get asked to do that? And how has it been other quads looking up to you to adapt your workouts?
it's been amazing. Like I, I love when I get DMs from people saying, "I love your workouts. I didn't think I would be able to do something, or I couldn't figure out how to adapt something." and you were able to figure it out. So thank you for the information. And I love when they're like, I love that working out with you. I forget I'm working out because your stories are so interesting. I try to distract them, from what we're doing. But I absolutely, I love it. I love my job. I love doing it. I love helping my community. I think working out is so important. And when people new injuries are like, what can you give me some advice? I'm like, you need to get in a workout routine and get as strong as you can, even if you're not focused on, I want to be able to do this transfer. I need to get stronger to do this and that. Just move your body is so important when you're in a wheelchair because you pump those endorphins into your brain. It helps. Um, but I love it, and it fell into my lap kind of. One of my wheelchair friends was like, "Hey," she DM'd me this job opportunity, and I was like, because I'm kind of known for fitness, so she's like, you'd be perfect for this. And I tried out, and my video was like, the video was awful, but I was goofy in it myself, and he liked that. And so he hired me, and I was like, yes,
Oh, that's so beautiful. Yeah, that's such a beautiful story. And I feel like sometimes we downplay our own accomplishments and how, great that we are and how people can connect with us because we're living with ourselves every single day. I feel like sometimes it's easy to get annoyed of ourselves or downplay our accomplishments a lot, and I think it feels so good to be acknowledged sometimes for, the littlest things. And I think that's so cool that you're pushing other quads to work out and to move because I feel like I fell into the routine of like it's easy to just kind of lay there, and just kind of like not do anything if you don't want to inside of a wheelchair, and especially if you have like family members that are like, able to be right there giving you stuff. It's so easy not to reach for things, and not to like extra try yourself. But that plays so much in your mental health, like we're talking about. It plays so much inside of how your body is and how you're happy and how much you want to laugh, and how motivated you are to keep on going, So I really say that if you're in that rut right now, to just push forward and to focus on these little goals and to know that you are going to feel better with these minor changes, and that it may not seem like a big thing, like you reaching for something yourself, but it is huge for your self-esteem, for your confidence. We need those things as women, as men, as people with disabilities, as able-bodied people. We need that feedback, so yeah, don't be hard on yourself. Okay, let's go into eating. So, does eating healthy play a big part of your fitness journey? Has it helped? And describe a day with your favorite go-to food items. I know food is a big, big issue inside the community. What helps with our bowel program as well may not be, the same as like other people that with fitness, and able-bodied people. Like, so I just want to hear you guys' journey all about that. Maria, how was that incorporating eating healthy and exercising? Was it at the same time or what?
um, Nutrition was my biggest setback, was like my biggest challenge for a long time. Fitness became easy once I started thinking outside the box on what workouts I could do, but the nutrition part was such a challenge because I was a very inexperienced cook, and then on top of that I can't easily reach the stovetop, and then I was battling depression for a while there and I didn't have the energy to cook. So what was it? I think it was October of last year. I decided, I was like, I am going to start focusing on building small little healthy habits one at a time. And so I wanted to start out with breakfast. Find a breakfast that is healthy, but I can still do even when I am super tired and I haven't had my morning coffee, and it does not involve a lot of cleanup afterwards. And so I found protein waffles that I have with a side of fruit. Obviously fresh whole foods in the produce section is best, but these protein waffles aren't bad either. It's a great starting point, and maybe someday I will push myself to do more clean and like full on healthy produce, but right now this is working out for me. And then I started out with lunch, and I was looking into like sort of like lunch wraps with maybe tuna or turkey lunch meats, and just again easy cleanup. Not a lot of dishes are being done with that.
So let me ask
But I
you,
do.
what do you search when you are trying to find these things? Like, how do you like try to figure, like, what are you searching on the internet or where are you looking to like get the options? for what you could eat?
I follow a few different. I go to a few different places. Paralysis Nutrition is one of my favorite places to go to on Instagram. She was sharing some recipes for a while there, and I would find some easy ones that I could do, and I gave that a try. I bought her cookbook, and I loved those. But I'll look on Pinterest and I'll say like non-cook lunches or non-cook breakfasts or non-cook dinners, like just things that are healthy, like non-cook, just things that don't involve a lot of cooking, and things that are really easy to make that are still healthy, and looking from that. And then I just started exploring. What also really helped is I got a dinner subscription box, like, HelloFresh, Every Plate, Blue Apron, whatever, all of those. We got one of those, and it makes it so easy. Like, it tells you like step by step how to do everything. And so that's when I started really exploring cooking and really finding it fun and enjoyable. And now I'm ready to challenge myself just a little bit more and try new recipes that aren't necessarily given to me as is. But yeah.
Yeah, I think that's such a beautiful journey. Like it's hard to incorporate these little things, but the way that you did it little by little, it can be done with so many aspects of our lives, and I think sometimes we try to take on so much at once that we overwhelm ourselves, and we're so afraid to fail, or when we do fail, we just kind of give up, like, but I always want to say, like, I was doing that for many years, but hop back on the wagon. Don't let yourself fully get fallen off just because you were supposed to work out this Monday and you didn't work out on Monday. Now you can't work out for the rest of the week. It's like, no, maybe you have to change it to Tuesday, or like switch things around, or start back up again on Monday, like whatever the case may be. So those little goals are so important. Sometimes big goals can overwhelm us. Although they challenge us, I think it's important to have more little goals than big goals, especially in the beginning of things. So yeah. How was your journey, Rachel, with eating? And what are your go-to foods? Has it helped? What's your journey with this?
Like Maria, I have struggled. I had gained about, I want to say it's about 45 pounds. I was on steroids on and off for 3 years trying to get a sport deal. And I was just like a conveyor belt of food in front of my face. And I put the weight on fast. And I had to get into the habit like she did. I made small changes. I had to do things like, unless I'm in severe pain, I don't smoke unless I'm in bed. I know I'm too lazy to do the transfer to get out just for food. So I had to stop that because I noticed it was a bad habit for me because I'm like, ooh, what can I eat? I have a hard time struggling. I'm not saying this is something I was diagnosed with. I struggle with binge eating, especially if I'm emotional. So I really have to. I like doing things like when I get a bag of pretzels. Is it the healthiest thing? No. But what I do is I immediately portion out like a week's worth in a bag because I'm less likely to overeat and binge on something if I can just grab it and go. I do a lot of what Maria does. I'll get like turkey lunch meat and I'll do roll ups without the bread. I try to stay away from carbs. I eat carbs, don't get me wrong, you need that. But I try to limit that, so I stay away from that stuff. I try to stick to high protein. I do need to start working on my vegetables, eating more of that. But I focus on high protein and low carbs, and that's what works for my body really well. And the vegetable thing is what I need to work on. Definitely not getting enough fiber. I'm struggling with that. I have a colostomy bag, but so now I can really tell what affects me and what doesn't. And so I'm struggling with that. But like Maria said, small changes. I can't tell you how many DMs I get where they're like, I fell off the wagon. I tried to cut out sugar, completely cut out carbs. I'm like, well, that was your problem. You can't go from 0 to 60. You're gonna get overwhelmed and be like, I can't do this. I can't do this. Start out with getting enough water in and cutting out soda. Do that for 2 weeks and then pick something else. Cut out something else small. And if you keep doing that, you'll build up and you fall off the wagon. I tell people I fall off the wagon all the time. All the time. But like you were saying, Brianna, jump back on. Jump on. It's normal. We're not
Yeah.
perfect. We're human.
1,000%. And so for me, my eating journey was a little bit different because I was on a lot of medication and it just dried out my tongue and it made me so grossed out that I barely could eat anything. So I lost so much weight and I got to the point where it wasn't healthy anymore, you know? And so I got my blood taken. I think getting your blood taken is important so that you can kind of know where your levels are at and what's important for you, because you might be eating more of something that you don't need, you know, maybe you're eating more fiber and you don't need that, you know, or you need more protein, you know, like, or whatever the case may be. Like, you know, my D3 levels were just all the way down and I was like, D3, what the hell's D3, you know, like, where do I get that from? You know, it's just like you don't really think about these things, but it definitely helps you. These are the vitamins in different food that give you that energy, you know, or make your metabolism different or better. You know, you have to really see what works for your stomach as well, because some things that maybe are great for my stomach might not work for a quad stomach, you know, or like somebody else that's a different weight stomach. Like, we have different reactions inside of our body, you know, so you definitely have to try things. You cannot eat everything that you ate before your injury, unfortunately. It does not work that way. I've never heard like a good thing that goes from that, you know. But you can portion it, you know. It's just you're not getting as much exercise as you were before. Your intestines work differently and stuff like that. So for me, even drinking what I drink affects me a lot. Like, I have to really drink water, and I honestly limit myself to coffee and water. That's just me. I know some people do soda or they incorporate like different little things, but you can't be just drinking soda and coffee and Red Bulls all day long. It doesn't go good at your stomach, you know, and you're just like, oh, why am I so feel drained? Why do I feel so groggy, you know? And those little things do matter, you know, and it kind of gives us false energy where we could be getting energy from our food source, you know, from exercising, natural energy that is in our programs, in our bodies, in our human system, in our society already, you know. And not a lot of us are taught that. And so don't be hard on yourself. Sometimes your whole family, nobody exercises, the whole thing is filled with junk food, you know, we eat out every single night, you know, nobody's like focused on these things. So when you get injured, you kind of don't know where you fit in with that, you know, and it's kind of hard to get that regulated. And it's kind of annoying to realize that you have to focus on these things for your bowel program and stuff like that. So I know this isn't one of our main questions, but I'm wondering, like, how has that been with your bowel program, Maria, and exercising and eating healthier? Like, has it been better? Have you seen a difference?
Whenever I'm on track with my goals, with my eating goals and with my fitness goals, my bowel program is so fast and so easy. Like, it takes me 5 minutes in the morning. I drink my coffee, I eat my breakfast, and then I go to the bathroom and I'm done so fast. When I am not on track with my goals, everything is so much harder and it takes a little bit longer. So I definitely say, like, drinking water, eating more home cooked foods than takeout and like easy microwave things definitely make things a lot easier when it comes to your bowel program. If you can focus on that, that's a great stepping stone. But yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. And and what about you, Rachel? I know a lot of people complain about having a quad belly. So is that something that you've struggled with, and like getting your bowel program in order, and how is exercising like help that aspect of your life?
Because I I've heard people say standing frames are good for to keep your system regulated. I never even knew standing was important until 2 years ago. So I haven't stood since the day of my injury. So I don't get that kind of movement in my intestines. Uh, and my stomach is so sensitive. I, I mean, after I got my urostomy bag, after that, before that, I had no problem. Never had accidents, maybe once a year, maybe. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and then after that, it was like sometimes it multiple times a day. I mean, I had to get the colostomy bag, and it pushed me because now I'm independent that way. I can take care of it myself. But if I'm not eating right, like my stomach hurts all the time, but it hurts less, and I feel better and have more energy, and my mood stabilizes when I'm eating healthy. I eat fast food maybe once a month because for me it just doesn't. My neuropathy, it flares up my neuropathy. It affects my stomach. It slows down my intestines, and when my intestines slow down and I get slightly constipated, my stomach aches. and it hurts, and it's hard to pass anything, and to pass through that small hole, you feel it. Y'all feel it, it hurts. It sets off my blood pressure. So eating healthy, drinking a ton of water for me works because I have the urostomy bag, so I have the privilege of just chugging all day. Helps so much. So I staying away from the sugar and the processed food is like a big game changer when it comes to bowel programs. Whether you have a colostomy bag or not, you know.
Yeah. And the paralysis nutritionist on Instagram touches on that a lot, which I feel like you guys should go definitely check out as well. She talks a lot about bowel program and how your foods affect that and what your doctor could be giving you compared to what you should be doing or what might help you best inside of a wheelchair. So I definitely love her tips. So go check that out. And also I would say a big tip for me is not eating until I'm so stuffed and full. That really works for me. I would like literally just like it's a habit to just eat until you can't eat anymore and just like have a big old stomach. That doesn't work as well with me in a wheelchair, and like I feel like so disgusted, and just like not good. It really helped me when I stop about 80% through, where I'm, could still of course stuff my face a little bit more, but I'm not super hungry. You could always like have a little like snack like later on if like that's what you're needed. But I would say do smaller. For me, I had to do more smaller little meals throughout the day than big meals. That's what helped me inside of my journey. So after I started doing that, I realized I'm eating a little bit more because I would go all day without eating. I still sometimes I stop myself from getting in the habit of doing that, and just kind of being on the go and realizing, hold on, Brianna, you haven't drank water or ate anything in hours, and you're just like rolling all around this event, talking to people, burning energy, and like, you're just like, no wonder you're freaking dying at the end of the day, it's like, no, you have to stop and make sure that you're taking care of yourself, eating a small breakfast, maybe a snack inside the morning, having a couple snacks in your car, in your to-go bag, some protein bars, whatever it is to just kind of help your body. It's needed. I feel like it's needed. Definitely. Yeah. Always have those little snacks around. And I think that it definitely helps. So you're used to programmed in your mind, I need breakfast, lunch, and dinner, 3 big meals, and sometimes changing that routine around after you're paralyzed helps for me. Okay, so have you ever struggled with staying consistent, which we definitely talked about? What do you tell yourself on those days where you want to give up, where you don't want to do anything, and like it's not where you feel like you have to get back on the wagon yet, you're not there yet, but you're just like feeling very groggy that day, and you're just, you're all these things that help you feel better, you don't feel like doing. What do you do when that happens, Maria?
So I have had to give myself a lot of grace many times. I've had to understand like that you're not at your A game, but do something small and that's progress. Progress, not perfection. Something is better than nothing. I tell myself that all the time. I will say that focusing on slowly building healthy habits since October of last year, staying consistent has become so much easier because of that. The only times that I've taken a break from the gym is when I'm literally not home and I am so busy doing other things that I don't have time to go to the gym. It's never like since I started focusing on building healthy habits, I haven't fallen off of track. I haven't fallen off of the bandwagon. I've been excited to go back to the gym when I'm forced to take a break. I've been excited to, get back to eating the same things that I do eat because I made it fit my lifestyle. If you do everything all at once, if you cut out all the bad food, eat everything right, and start working out 5 days a week when you've been doing nothing for however long you've been doing, you're eventually going to burn out. You're eventually going to be exhausted. Look at yourself, evaluate yourself, say like, what is the easiest thing that I could change right now? Is it just drinking more water? Great. I'm going to focus on that. And then when you start feeling better, because you will start feeling better, add something else in. And instead of thinking about the things you're taking away, focusing on the things you're adding into your life, you'll feel a difference, and switching to a healthier lifestyle will become so much easier. But yeah.
Yes, I love it. We need the clapping hands, Sean. I need one of those buttons. I'm always like, Sean, 10-4 in the background. I need some claps over here. There we go. Yes, I think that's so important. And self-talking yourself, I think something to throw in here is your thoughts are not facts. I say that all the time. Sometimes it's easy to talk yourself down and that almost like put yourself more in a rut, Self affirmations are great for me. I always have to be like, hold on, not thinking right, need to backtrack, this is not true, what's the truth right now, and like sometimes I need a journal to get out of that funk, sometimes you need to figure out like what that is. Sometimes it's just shaking it out, sometimes it's literally me going 1 2 3 go, it's time to go, I have to do whatever I'm supposed to do, and like it's little tiny things that you have to change. I think even you could look up online like tips to get into routines, tools for, getting into a healthy exercise routine, or eating healthier, like little things like that, and even get more tips than what we're giving you, because all this comes from doing your own research as well, and like looking at other people online, seeing what works best for them, trying out different tools. We kind of don't know until we're told, so I think observing and being curious about these things is the best way to go about it. If you totally block yourself off from all this stuff and just like order your DoorDash and want your Netflix, it's easy to stay in that routine. So I think it's like watching exercising videos, setting these little goals for yourself, setting deadlines for yourself, and doing that really helps. So Rachel, how is it for you when you struggle to stay consistent, and what do you tell yourself on those days that you want to give up?
For me, I don't know if it's different between quads and parapets, but I know for me, like I will lose independence when I lose even just a little bit of muscle, and it can happen so fast. So I literally will go in front of my long blank mirror and I tell myself, "What are your goals?" Like, man, I really want to do that transfer without the sideboard. Okay, well, what do you have to do to get there? I have to lift weights and gain more muscle. Okay, and then I look in the mirror and I say, "How bad do you want it? How bad do you want it?" Because if you want it bad enough, you'll do it. You know what you need to do. Maybe sometimes I'll be like, you know what, for 2 days, you could take 2 days off. But after those 2 days, you have to go back into working out. You can't. I try not to fall off for too long because it gets really easy to not do it. So that's what I do is self-talk. I tell myself, if you don't do it, that means you didn't want it bad enough. It's like I feed off of that kind of challenge with myself. So that's what I do. I'm like, okay, I want to do that transfer. I'm tired of that dang slide board. Get in the gym. Get your weights. You know.
And I think you touched on something important as well, is finding that balance between taking days off and knowing when you're taking too much time off. I feel like sometimes it's easy to be like, oh, I'm gonna be exhausted if I do this, instead of you being exhausted right now, and like I do that with my anxiety the same way my mental health, like this is gonna cause me anxiety, so I don't want to do it. It's like, no, you don't have anxiety right now, like push through and see how it goes about. If you're over there having a panic attack, great, you can go back to your room. But if not, like most of the times I'm having a great day, it's all in my head, I'm building things up. Same thing with my depression. If you're going days crying and not being motivated, that's not okay. You're allowed to cry. You're allowed to be angry. You're allowed to have emotions, but letting it take over your life is a big difference. So I think it's the same exact way with this. Maybe you fall off a wagon for a day or two, but if you're like, I'm going to blow it up all month, whatever the case may be, like, I don't care about my goals. Like you're kind of getting a little carried away and using that to your advantage, and you have to call yourself out on that. It's really important. Or find a buddy that's also into this and wants to do the same routine, and hold each other accountable for it. When I got an accountability partner when I was in the BBS program with the Rolettes, it helped me so much just focus on my little goals, to just be like somebody checking in on me, like, hey, how's it going this week? Where'd you fall short? Why do you think you fall short? How do you think you can get back? Sometimes you just need somebody else like checking you. If that's you, there's tons of people, and maybe check out the hashtag too and see who's interested in the RLA Fit 2022 to see like some other people that you could vibe with and get in contact with. So yeah. Okay, so we're on our bonus question. What would you say to a newly injured who is hesitant about starting their wheelchair fitness journey? So they're just right there, maybe like a couple months in, and they're like, you guys are crazy not doing this, and what would you say to that person? I know we touched on a lot of tips and tools, which is like so important, but maybe just a little bit of that motivation advice. What would you say, Maria?
What I've honestly been saying, which is starting small, even if it's like just to prove me wrong, like oh, working out isn't gonna make me feel any better. Okay, work out a few days a week and tell me if you don't feel any better. Like, tell me, like, do it to prove me wrong. One of my favorite things, you kind of brought it up, was like, like on those days when you're feeling bad, is like, feel your feelings, don't feed your feelings. But sometimes when I'm feeling frustrated, I will go to the gym and I will think about that frustration and I will work out that frustration and I will feel a million times better. It's great. But if like, you're somebody like who wants to get into it but is maybe feeling hesitant and insecure, you don't have to go to a gym right away. You can try to see what things you can do at home. You can reach out for support to me or to Rachel or to anybody else in the disabled fitness community and see what we do, see what we post, reach out to us and ask us questions, and we'll be happy to answer these questions for you and encourage you to focus on what you can do. That's the biggest thing. Focus on everything that you can control, focus on the things that you can do, and tune out the things. It's good to be aware of our limitations, yes, because we don't want to injure ourselves, but focus more on what you're capable of doing, and you will find that there is more to life that you can do than if you focus more on the things that you can't do. And yeah, it becomes a lot easier that way. I enjoy fitness so much more when I focus on what I can do.
And that's so important as well. I feel like with our injury comes, well, with me, it's a little complicated because I do still have my bullet in my back. I have a back fracture. It's never been fixed, So it's like knowing my limitations. It's like, okay, of course I want to get stronger, working this out. But if I cannot move, if I'm causing myself physical damage, you need to slow down. Don't compare your journey to other people's journey. It's how much weight you can turn. Like, literally, I say start out with the smallest weight and see how that feels after you do a couple five. If you feel strong enough to try the next weight, go ahead and see how that works. If you cannot move your arm afterwards, and you're hating your life so much because you're in so much pain because of how hard you're working your muscles, that might not be the best way to go about it. I say slow down a little bit and slowly increase it. It's not saying you're never going to get there, because we see Maria, she's killing it, pulling those ropes and doing all kinds of crazy things, but that started with her starting slow and building those muscles up. And maybe someday she might not feel strong enough to pull, the weight that she could the day before. And that's okay, because she's going about with her limitations. So I think it's very important to remember in the beginning. Rachel, what would you say about joining, and how would you say also like Zouk Fitness? I think that's a great thing for them to try out as well. Maybe like talk about that a little bit too, how they could get started with it.
Yeah, I try and tell people, check out Zouk Fitness, because I know in the beginning it's like not everyone struggles with their mental health in the beginning, but I find that a major part of the community does. And so you have a mental block, like, well, I can't do that. I'm in a wheelchair. I have no triceps, my hands don't work. But I think that's a mental block. And that's why I love Zouk Fitness, because it's like, oh, well, we got the adaptive workout for you. Like, you don't have to do that complicated part. Just show up and do what you can. And it's also very important. I like what you're saying, Brianna. Don't forget, you still have to push your chair all day. You still have to be able to get in and out of bed. So I always tell people, don't kill yourself in the gym to the point where you're in so much pain where you're like, I don't want to do that again. I don't want to feel that way. It's okay to be sore, but not destroyed. And I think it's so important. I always tell them it's just good for mental health, even if you're 100% independent right out of the gate, because some people who are low level paras, not everyone, but a lot of people could get independent real fast. But it's not just about that. It's about mental health. Goals are so good, especially when you're out of work in the beginning for so long. It's like that's a big part of a routine for humans in general. And when you lose that, you need to have short and long term goals. And I think fitness is great for that. You hit that goal, you feel good about yourself, you're pumped. You're like, man, yes, yes. And it, like, I don't know, I get addicted to it. I'm like, okay, like, what else can I do? Like, what's my next goal? How much weight can I lift? So
Yeah.
I think it's important.
Yeah, and even if you're not super into fitness as well, I just saw Sean pop something up that says that Zoom Fitness is going to be doing a new promo for a 3 months free. 3 months free membership. So you just go to zoomfitness.com and see if like maybe working out with somebody on the TV screen is great. If you need like more like longer discipline, if you're an app person that just can work out by themselves and just needs like a little bit of guidance, the RLA Fit, you put a hashtag our LA Fit 2022 is going on right now, and they have a bunch of great workouts. If you're just looking for maybe how to adapt things to show your PT, Maria does great workouts on side of her channel as well. And like really check out those hashtags. I feel like hashtags really help a lot in our community and like help us find more people and more things going on. So I think that's very important. So yeah, this has been a great conversation. Oh, that reminds me, you said something about we have a habit when we first get injured of saying, I can't do that, I can't do that, because you never seen it done, and I would literally didn't even realize how much I would say I can't. And so I made a rule after I went to the World's Experience, and I felt like I am a boundless babe. I made a rule like no saying you can't unless you literally can't. Like you have to start saying I can. How can I do this? What do I have to move around? Maybe I have to move to the edge of my seat. Maybe I have to do this. Maybe what is holding me back right now, and how can I challenge myself to be better in this situation? And like it is a mindset thing, and it is a little switch. And it's not to say you're crazy. Don't be thinking mental health, we're not calling you crazy. It's just we all deal with it, and we're not taught, I feel like, from a very young age how to keep going and how to deal with this stuff, and like you might not want to be, a bodybuilder. You might not want to do workout videos online. That's fine. I use the exercises to help me push around events. Like I'm exhausted if I don't do that. I love talking and meeting people and getting to know different people in the community, but I do not have the strength to transfer in and out, to go on the bed, to push around, to have the energy to talk to everybody all day if I don't stay consistent with these things. So you have to think about other aspects. It could just be going to work. You maybe want to go to work again and feel more at your best at work and not be tired throughout the day. Maybe you want to volunteer more at your church. Little things that you don't realize that it could help you with, it really could. So you don't know until you try. What do you say, Marie?
I just remembered that another thing that fitness has like really helped me with is it helped me decrease my chronic pain so much. Like I haven't had a day where my chronic pain has been so painful that I can't even get out of bed in I don't even know how long. When I am on track with my fitness goals, when I'm on track with my nutrition and prioritizing quality sleep and staying hydrated, I don't like I still get nerve pain and I still have days where it's like a little harder to deal with, but it's so much easier to manage when I am working out and like working on myself and working on my health than it is when I'm laying on the couch all day and eating takeout and not taking care of myself. This when you are kind to your body is kind to you in return. It's not a cure all for everything, but it can help reduce some of these symptoms and make your life a little bit easier to live.
Yes, 1,000%. Paul said, great show, ladies. Fitness, nutrition, overall health is such an important part of our SEI lives. First time I've caught your show, Brianna. Great work. Oh, thank you so much. I hope you come back and watch previous shows. We love you guys so much for joining and supporting us and liking our videos and just helping us reach other people inside of this community. It fuels our hearts, and we hope that we just help you guys with these little bit of tips. If you're joining us afterwards, make sure to leave a comment and a like and let us know what was your favorite part was, what you want us to know more about. Feel free to send us a DM, follow us on Instagram. All our Instagram ads are on the screen, so feel free to follow us there and, check out the videos the girls do. I don't do as many fitness videos, but I do other things, so you can go check out that. And my dog is banging on the door already. It's okay. Sorry if you guys hear that in the background. I want to give a huge thanks to our sponsors, Urology Professionals and Mobility Professionals. They help out us with all our urology supplies. And since I've been to them, they give a different level of customer care service. And this is why I say that I really like them a lot. They're all trained to deal with wheelchair users instead of people just kind of applying for a job and not really caring when we get our catheters and stuff. So make sure to go check them out and see what they have to offer. If you just send them even an email and be like, hey, this is what I'm using, this is what I need, what can you help me with, which I've done. They help me find the right supplies. They are so supportive there with me, and like they check up on me every single month. I do not have to call and order anything. They make sure that, do you need any more supplies, if anything's okay. I love them honestly so much. I could not say enough great things about them. And mobility professionals is the exact same way with your wheelchairs. Fitting your wheelchairs is so important, you know, getting a good company that knows the right sizes. So yeah, both of these companies are owned by somebody inside of a wheelchair, and so they've trained their workers to work with wheelchair users. So go and check that out. Catching you from Canada. I know Bobby R and a few of the guys. Okay, okay. Thank you so much for joining all the way from Canada. We really, really appreciate it and listening to us. The guys do some great shows as well. And, you know, if you have any special hobbies or interests and you guys are interested in getting on the show, feel free to send us a message. You don't have to have all these followers. You don't need to have all these things. We're just interested in people in our community doing great things, and we're trying to showcase them and give them a platform to share their stories. So don't be afraid to message us if you want to join the show. Sometimes I see comments, but message me on Instagram. That's the best way to get a hold of me, and I will get you on the show. Okay, this has been so great. Thank you, girls, for joining us, and I hope you guys have a great day. Make sure to join us every first and third Thursday for the Women's Disability Show, and the guys are on every single Tuesday with a new show. We also been doing different cooking videos and transfer videos, so make sure to go check those out as well, and give us a follow on Instagram. It's been great talking with you guys all. I hope you guys all have a great day. Live to roll. We're out.